One of the things that I love about Scan FYI is that we get to meet all kinds of different people that we might not come across in the rest of our lives. I'm no different. Today, I'm very excited because this is a topic we've never talked about. And you know me, I'm a lifelong learner. And today we're all going to learn something. We're going to learn about drama therapy. If you're like me, you don't know anything about it, but we're going to find out together. So if you want to know more about drama therapy, just stay tuned. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scan FYI. My guest today is Heidi Jackson. She is a drama therapist. And as I said, we've never spoken to a drama therapist. In fact, if you're like me, we don't really know what that means. So we're going to find out together. So, Heidi, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Let's start out by having you introduce yourself and please tell everyone what is a drama therapist.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. I'm very passionate about the use of arts and creativity for healing and for making community, making connections, and just, encouraging lifelong learning and development. So I'm Heidi. I am a licensed clinician, as well, like regular, mental health clinician, as well as a registered drama therapist. What is a registered drama therapist? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Drama therapy is the intentional use of elements that you might think of, that are usually connected to theater, like storytelling,
Mhm.
improvisation, dramatic reality, imagination, scene work, but it's for the intentional purpose of to create healing and change and connection. And whether that's just helping someone, try on a new role. I like to work a lot with role because so much in our lives, across the lifespan, we get stuck in roles, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
playing the role of the therapist, we're playing the role of the mother, we're playing the role of, you know, the young, you know, stupid person, or the young fickle person, right? Or the old person, or, different stages of the life, or the sick person, or the well person, the one who holds it all together, the hero child. I mean, all of these things, we see them, it's the archetypes, right? So drama therapy allows us to, I always call it a backdoor in, because not everybody responds to just sitting down and talking. Many of us are
Right.
very intelligent and can talk ad nauseum, and we can, I mean, I know me, I can understand myself very well, but it's still all here in the body. So it allows us to put it on its feet, put what's going on in here out here so we can look at it and play with it, right? Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Play is underrated, unfortunately, by
Yeah.
many people.
Yeah.
So, let me say this. At SCAN, we have a tremendous respect for all creative arts.
Mhm.
And me personally, I'm a lifelong photographer, and I always say to people, I see the world through the lens.
Yeah.
That's how I see people. That's how I see life through the lens of a camera, even when there's not a camera in my face. But I think creativity is it's everyone has it, even if it's maybe underdeveloped in some people. But we also understand at SCAN that, people who paint, people who, are dancing, playing an instrument, there's a healing component to all of that.
Yeah.
And I wish more people understood that. But I totally feel that the creative arts are therapeutic in many different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just doing a little sort of background research, Because the thing that people forget is that this isn't just, oh, we're just going to go in a room and play, or we're going to paint. There's actually, this is all evidence-based, so this is evidence-based treatment, that, it's supported by the WHO, it's supported by the National Institute of Mental Health. If you look on those websites, they actually show statistics of studies that have been shown that, I think I put one in my, pre-show notes, that just 20 minutes
Right.
of creative activity per week can lengthen your lifespan. Um,
And
and create joy.
who doesn't want to do that, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's true that there's some people that, as you said, they have a hard time really. If you ask a question, it's hard for them to give a good answer,
Yeah.
but they can play the role, suspend their own reality. And I think that's why so many actors, they're playing that role. They're getting out of their own skin.
Mhm. Mhm.
We need to do more of that as just regular adults. I think it would be very beneficial. You get out your feelings in the role that you're playing. Maybe you feel like, as the mother, as the daughter, as whatever, you can't say that. But maybe if you're in a character,
Yes.
you can do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had experiences in therapy with people where, all of a sudden, I will say, like, well, could you say that as, what if you played the role of the rebel? And what if you just, because sometimes people say, like, oh, I would never be that kind of person, or I'm not the kind of person who blah, 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 or I'm this kind of person. And I would say, okay, well, what if just for a day or for 5 minutes you were this kind of person? What would that look like? And I remember I had this one client where they were just like very, like the good person, they always did the right thing. And we were playing with the role of the rebel. And I said, well, what would
A
happen
role
if
that
you
I have perfected, by the way. Yeah.
Ah, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Um, and so I invited them. We started playing with it, and at first they were a little bit timid, and by the end of the session, they were. I had a bunch of stuffed animals for some reason in my office at that time, and they were on the other side of the room, and they just started throwing them at me, and it was fantastic, right?
Hmm.
Because we had that therapeutic alliance of they knew that they could do that with me, and that's another really powerful piece of not just, um, like all the creative arts, but drama therapy specifically. Two key elements are there's the creation of the play space. So we know that whatever happens in the play space can happen, right? But also that a very important, part of my role as therapist is that it's always therapist in role, right? So I'm joining, right? I'm not out here observing, I'm in it with the client. I'm in it with the person, right? But
Yeah.
I'm doing a double thing, right? Like I'm facilitating, but I'm also playing with.
You're part of the
Um,
storyline.
yeah, as much and
Hmm.
I try to find ways to engage in a way that makes sense for the person's journey. But it's collaborative, you know?
If you were to be in the middle of the shop, right, let's just say, and you started throwing things, I'm sure they'd call the police. It's all about being in the safe space with
Yes.
you. You can do these things.
Yes.
And maybe at that moment in the shop, right, you had those feelings and you wanted to do that, but hopefully your impulse control would kick in.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
But this
definitely.
is an opportunity, I can see that, to explore that other side of you that you can't do it out in public.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even, if you think about, like, maybe there was that part of you as a child that never felt like you could do those things without being yelled at, or without, being punished. And granted, like we have to learn to behave and everything, but you get to have that, we call it a corrective emotional experience. Even in things like doing a simple role play, we can have, maybe there's a situation that you wish you could redo, right? And
Yeah.
obviously we can't redo it, but in dramatic reality, or in even in an art piece, or in a tableau, in a sculpt, you can explore. I mean, you don't, it doesn't have to be a long scene work. And just to say also that drama therapy requires no training, um, no ability to act, not being good, I mean, I
Yeah.
hear this all the time. People are like, I don't know how to do this. I can't do this, and um, my opening usually, like I always try to structure a session, a group we have an opening activity, we have a core activity, and then we have a closing ritual. Um, and the opening activity can be something very simple. Like I usually start with a sound and a movement. You know, what is like based on how you feel today, you know, make a sound and a movement based on how you feel. And you wouldn't believe how hard that is for for a lot of people, um, to just, bleh, or right?
I feel like as we get older, mature, whatever the right word is, we're kind of taught, maybe it's even subliminal, like, don't do that, grow up, act your age.
Mhm.
And for many people, I believe that really sinks in. And so they just can't act, inappropriately because
Mhm.
they're too much of an adult.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, I
Yeah.
think,
Yep.
because we talked about play, having fun, relax.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, Heidi, people think, well, everyone is looking at me, where the
Hmm.
truth is nobody's looking, nobody even cares. We're
Yeah.
so focused on ourselves. So you're giving people a very safe space to, kind of act out all these things that they've, locked away for years.
Yeah. 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 I have to say too, it's really incredible. I run part of my job here is I get to have the opportunity to run groups, and I will be running groups actually, in the future for, like for not just for the program we run here. Um, but I see these things come out in improvisations that I know that clients are actually working through, right? And they don't realize it, but
Yeah,
it always afterwards, I'm always like, wow, that person doesn't even realize that they just had the opportunity to play with X, Y, or Z, right? Um,
it's powerful.
it's really powerful. And Yeah, and a lot of times, I have found that, I've gone through periods where people are like, "Ah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." And part of it is that drama therapy demands embodiment in a way, which is really hard for a lot of us. I mean, you know, there's now we know that like trauma and emotion is stored in the body, right? And drama therapy kind of forces us, allows us to, you know, to see what's in there. And sometimes that's a really high demand. I got into drama therapy because I was an actress and a theater person my whole life. But I'd also always been a teaching artist, and always really known, always really invested in my own healing and trying to
Hmm.
figure that out. I mean, from a very early age. And then after COVID happened, where I was working as a personal stylist, actually, closed down. And I thought, and I'd always wanted to get my master's degree, and I was looking around, and I found this thing called drama therapy, and it blew my mind. It was like somebody put the chocolate in my peanut butter, you know? And yeah, so that's what there's a I didn't realize there was a master's program for that. Um
So this is this something that is for adults and kids, people of
yeah.
all ages?
Oh
By the
man,
way,
across.
we should mention that you are part of Integrated Care Concepts. You want to
Yeah.
just tell everyone what that is?
I do. So integrated care concepts is awesome. We have outpatient services. We have groups for all ages. We have psychiatric services. We have yoga therapists on staff. We are doing community offerings like sound bath. I'm hoping to do a community offering of drama therapy. And then we have regular outpatient therapy. We also have our wonderful IA, which is integrated adolescence, where I've been privileged to be in a clinician for the last 2 years, which we work with 12 to 18-year-olds and their parents or guardians in a partial hospitalization program and an intensive outpatient program. And yeah, and we are very like we're integrated care concepts. So we really believe that it's a whole mind and body experience. I mean, we do regular talk therapy here, of course, but as a company, we really take a whole person approach. That's very important to us. And like we also have people who are certified in sand play. Because someone might not want to dive into drama therapy, or they might really not want if they might not respond to art therapy, or they might not respond to, you know, um, something else, right? So we are really we like to cross-pollinate here with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would you say would receive the most, like people who are listening and they're wondering, is this the right thing for me? Drama therapy. Who might get the most benefit from this? Or are there any particular things that it is most beneficial for?
Oh boy, that's a great question. It's a hard question for me to answer because really I've seen it be effective with so many populations. I mean, I can think of it's been used with Parkinson's, with you know, terminal illness and, the pediatric population,
Oh,
schizophrenia, teens and adolescents. Um, I think, I really want to emphasize that, if you are my client, for example, I'm not going to necessarily do drama therapy in every single session, but it's a lens through which I practice um, with, and sometimes that includes um, drawing, drawing with your non-dominant hand, and that is sort of an art therapy thing, but it's drama therapy is very uses a lot of like cross-modal um, cross-pollination between the expressive arts. But you asked me who might this be most beneficial for. Um, I think it's it can be beneficial for everyone. And I will also say that if you have a hard time talking sometimes, which I think everybody does, or articulating feelings, articulating what it is you want to say, but it's somewhere in there.
right.
Um, it can be really helpful for that. I mean, I think about, I'm aware that this is the Senior Citizens Activities Network, right? And I mean, think about storytelling, right? Being
Yeah.
able to tell your story. And I didn't mention this, but another really important part of drama therapy is that if you do it in a group, it's not the audience isn't an audience. They are active witnesses, which means they are actively witnessing um, the teller, right? So they're actively receiving what the teller or the expressor is offering. It's not a passive, you're out here. It's a joining, right? And that's a really important piece for so many of us because so many of us have not been properly witnessed in a supported atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. That's a role right there, the child that never gets heard, and
Yeah, yeah.
you grow up to that. I think of all the actors, all the Hollywood people. They're getting paid to do these
Mhm.
roles, and for
Yeah.
some of them, how deeply therapeutic it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
Or what if you're, like a very mild mannered person in real life, and you have to play, like the hardened killer. You
Yeah,
really have to work on something to, to bring out that, that ugliness.
yeah,
And so, I mean, there's a drama therapy right there.
yeah, yep.
It's
I
pretty
mean,
amazing.
it is. I mean, if you think about, the Greeks, that catharsis, right? And then it's not just the player that gets the catharsis, it's the whole community that gets the catharsis, right? It's a shared experience. I mean, even sometimes I've done work where um one person will um like tell a story, right? And then we'll have the rest of the group create a tableau, like a group tableau of, okay, you felt this way, you felt that way, you felt that way. Just three simple sculpts, right? And so they create those sculpts, and then we stand with the person who was the teller and say, did they get it right? And is there anything that needs to be adjusted? And they can change, and so then they're able to see it, and it's tableau, it's statue, right? And
Yes.
something so simple like that, and then it'll allow people who are expressing the story to experience something new in their body, like, oh wow, what was that like for you, you know
Now, you said, if I understood right, that you were going to be doing some drama therapy in a community-based setting. You were hoping to do that.
yeah,
When
yes,
you have
yes. So
info on that, if do you already know when all that's happening?
I do. I know that we are partnering with the Eatontown Community Center right now. And I will make sure that Tristan gets you that information. I can't
Writing
remember.
this down so
Yeah,
that we'll be able to share that, because I think that
yes,
would be a, a very cool experience for
yes,
everyone to, participate. Okay.
yeah, yep. And my hope also is to there's there's a format of drama therapy which is really cool. Um, it's called the coactive therapeutic theater model, but essentially it works through um, a series of weeks, and it leads up to creating a therapeutic theater piece. So basically writing an original play, like a short piece. And what's really cool about that is, there's so many different roles. Somebody can be the set builder, and
Yeah.
and is that therapeutic? Well, yes, because they get to gain mastery in a new skill, and then put their vision, bring their vision to life, right? Um, and we don't work, it's not like we're doing, personal monologues and putting stuff out there that we would work with a universal theme. But I will give you all information as soon as I have it.
Please.
How it works here is I just have to put the exact proposal together
Oh,
and get,
yeah. When
get it to
when
the
you know
powers that
more,
be.
we will absolutely share it. Heidi, I
Awesome.
want to thank you so much for speaking with me this morning. As I said, this is something I feel most people are not aware of, but now that we made them aware of it, I'm hoping that people will see that this would be a whole different form of therapeutic activity that could be so wonderful for you.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by it.
yeah, yeah. And
So
we love to do outreach too. So if anybody, was interested in, I love to come and just offer, of 45 minutes of play, and even that, I wrote my whole master's thesis on, short form play, to relieve stress and vicarious trauma in high stress situations. And it's really, really effective and amazing what can happen quickly.
All right.
Um,
Very
yeah,
cool. Very
yeah.
cool. Reminding you that all of Heidi's contact info for integrated care concept, sorry, will be in the show notes if you want to
Yeah.
reach out and find out more. Heidi, what a pleasure to speak with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I'm so glad to be here, and I'll see you soon.
Yes, remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone, and bye, Heidi.
Bye bye. Thank you.